Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Whitney Baldwin and I make videos about stuff. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about how to make mood boards. Mood boards are really important to the design process of anything that you're doing. You can be in any design industry and still utilize mood boards. You can do it for architecture, for interior design, for fashion design, for children's wear, for anything really. Oh, I match. Oh, a mood board is a collection of images that emote the mood that you are creating. It helps you when you're in your design phase and your concepting phase of your line. I'm going to show you how to create a mood board using Photoshop today. You can use Illustrator to create a mood board as well. It's a little bit more difficult because there are no cropping tools in Illustrator. If you would like to see that video, leave me a comment in the comments below and I'd be more than happy to make that video for you. But Photoshop is where I make all of my mood boards unless it's required that it has to be in Illustrator. Illustrator is a great program if you're working with a lot of text, if things need to be blown up to huge like billboard sizes, because it is a vector-based program. Photoshop still uses pixels. I like my hair today. I think I like it too. A few things that you need to do when you're creating your mood board, especially if you're working digitally, is keep a reference of all of your images. I know it's a pain in the butt, but you don't want to get in trouble. When you're creating a mood board, always put the season on it, but don't put the year. The season needs to be indicated because people need to know if it's spring, summer, or resort, or fall, fall, winter, fall 1, fall 2, but don't put the year because you can recycle your artwork if you don't have things in production already. You want to be able to utilize the artwork that you've created over the past couple years for interviews in jobs moving forward. So if you did something for, like, let's say if you did something a year ago and it was dated for this year, you don't want to go out on an interview next year and have it be dated a year behind.
Hi everyone, I am so sorry, my camera stopped recording. So in this next portion, I'm going to show you a few of the mood and inspiration boards I've created while being in school. But before we get started, I wanted to put a little disclaimer out there stating that I do not work for any of these brands, although I would love to. And I don't own the rights to any of their logos or the images used. These were school projects where we had to pick a brand to design for and keep a works cited for all images. As always, when you are borrowing images from mood boards, please keep a works cited so the proper people can get proper credit for their work. That being said, let's get started. Okay, so here we are, mood boards. This was the original mood board that I'd submitted for my portfolio application to FIT. I would consider this more of an inspiration page than a mood board because it's more of a collage instead of emoting one type of feeling. I could also see this used in a corporate setting to deliver ideas more so than just an emotion or a feeling. So as you can see for this mood board, I collected various images that I felt like represented the mood of the collection that I was making. I showed you this in my other video called How to Apply to FIT and Get In, where I share my portfolio of my application. So this is where you've seen that before. Moving on to the next one. So this was for my first semester fashion art first project ever. We had to create a bathing suit collection. I decided to use this aesthetic for my collection and decided to call it Bohemian Sunset. I will deconstruct this so you guys can see how I built it, and then we'll put it all back together so you can see how I did it. All right. So this is obviously the sun right down here that I wanted to emphasize. It wasn't enough for me. These are the sky. I liked these colors. This was a few of the colors that were in the palette. This is obviously the upper right palm fronds. This was too pixelated. I think that's why I added those clouds as well. Whoops, go away. This is the lower right palm trees. Obviously the name. The background palm trees. The upper left palm fronds. And of course the scanned in image. I found this image in a magazine and I just fell in love. I played with the saturation of the colors in the elephant. The elephant is not painted green. It's the original elephant gray color. But I thought this kind of contrast suited my color palette a little bit more. All right, so let's rebuild it so you can see exactly what I did. That is that. All right, let's go to the next one if we can. Okay, so I did this for, I think it was my first portion of second semester. Francesca's is an adorable brand. They have a ton of locations actually, and I just love this store. So let me walk you through how I built this as well, and we'll deconstruct it and then reconstruct it so you can see what I did exactly. All right, so obviously a logo. This is the palm frond in the lower right, palm frond in the lower left. This is a very faint arrow. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. I just wanted to add a little bit of something there. Text on the left. This is the text on the right. It's right here. I expanded it and flipped it upside down just to give the page a little bit of texture. Watercolor on the right, watercolor on the left, and then the background gradient. So pretty easy, nothing too technical. You can see the different values of opacity over here, different percentages of opacity. And that's pretty much it that I did for these beginning mood boards. Okay, moving on. This was first semester actually for Photoshop. I think either first or second semester Photoshop class that I had, and Anthropology was the brand that I chose. So let's deconstruct this and then put it back together. Obviously, that's Anthropology's logo. First delivery, you'll learn more about first and second deliveries when you get in school. This is the Anthropology cups. So if you are not familiar with Photoshop, you can group things into a folder and then you can turn the whole folder on or off. So in this folder, I went through and made individual cups. This is the iconic Anthropology cup that I found a typeface for and spelled out Anthropology on it, and then stacked them on this shelf to look like they were real cups. Then I just grouped them in a folder so it wasn't so cumbersome in my layers list. Those are the books. This is spring 2016. Oh, that's my name at the bottom. All right, so now you guys can get an idea of exactly how this was constructed, and you can do the same. So your two base layers, you should be the main color palette, and then a pretty big texture that you want, and then a focal piece. And then you can add in all of your different details that you'd like to give the feel of what you're trying to portray. Okay. This was the second delivery for that mood board, and something I wanted to mention is you see over here how there's only one layer, and on this one there were several layers. Well, this file, if I kept it expanded, would be pretty large. When you are sending things over the internet, if you're turning things in a lot of different pages, it's easier to handle when it's a smaller file size. So you can flatten, here I'll flatten, you can flatten this, and then all of those layers get compressed. So now you can't edit each individual thing because it is only one layer. This file size is quite a bit smaller than if it was expanded. You can just Command Z and basically undo your last step that you just did. But if you are sending files back and forth in finished products, you do want to have it flattened because it's way easier for the computer to handle and it doesn't take up so much space on your hard drive. But if you are going to continue to work on this, then you should save it in the PSD file, in the Photoshop file, always, because I didn't do that and now I can't go back in and edit this. Let's say I wanted to not have the cup here. If I wanted to put this watering can there, I really can't. I mean, I could figure it out, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt once you've condensed it. Save a flattened version to either submit or email, but always keep a full expanded version for yourself. Okay, this is another, we had to do several renditions of this project. That's why I have so many versions of it. Logo, that's my name. So this books file, this was the photo was only that big. So I had to add a bottom half portion. It's this portion that I just re-added. You can see the book repeat here and here. So I could fill the page because I wanted a pretty high horizon. And this just wasn't doing it. So I just had to copy and paste. And you can see the break right here if you really look closely. And that one other thing, if you wanted to do something called like a repeat or half drop repeats, you'd have to go in and really clean that up. And I could show you how to do that in another video if you'd like. Just let me know in the comments below. Let's turn these off. These are the feathers in the upper left-hand corner. Clock, I wanted to give this kind of like a vintagey decoupage wallpaper feel. This is a small sparrow on the left, the same sparrow in the right, just turned, rotated, and made bigger. So this original newsprint, I think it was just a quarter of the page, and then I just copy and pasted until it looked like a full page. Saved that as its own layer, flattened it, and then added it in as its own layer, right? And then this is a wallpaper and a candle that I think I used in the other one that you could see, but the opacity is super low. Okay. All right. This was for my final project for second semester fashion art. It's the Notorious Chanel project, and I actually really loved it. I used Iris Apfel, cute face and cute little glasses, as my muse, and I love this mood board. It's it's more, I don't know if it's a mood board, more of an inspiration board, but I love this. So let's deconstruct and reconstruct. This is the logo in the background. So this image is of the New York subway in the 1970s. Guys, all the trains in the 70s looked like this. And it's crazy that it's not like that anymore. So graffitied train. New York in a nutshell. I just love that. Okay, building it again. Little iris, little Coco, pull, and the logo. Each of these individual layers had its own work in and of itself, and then I was able to import them. I did this for third semester first project. CBGB, Hilly Crystal. If you guys know, or if you don't know, this was a really, really, really cool punk rock venue in the Lower East Side. It is no longer there anymore. It is a John Varvatos store, but the store still has a lot of elements that CBGB originally had. But it was kind of grungy, punk rocky scene. It is unfortunately no longer there. It originally meant country, bluegrass, and blues, but country, bluegrass, and blues didn't really play there. It was punk rock. An oil derrick, and this lady. Again, so this was for the same project. This was my mood board, and then this was my inspiration board. So CBGB is the awning. The awning is still there. I think it just says John Varvatos on it. And then Debbie Harry from Blondie. She always played there, so I put her in there. The same newspaper article, and then the same oil derrick, just in different areas of the board. Okay, and I think that is it.
Okay, that is it for this video on mood boards. Thank you so much for joining me. Give it a thumbs up if you liked this. Seriously, let me know if you like videos like this, because I'm so new to YouTube that I don't really know what I should be making yet. Let me know if this helped you at all, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, I will be more than happy to do them. So alright, have a great day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Get away, 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 get away. Ugh.